Now we are dropping bombs and exploding missiles in Syria to begin the diminution of the radical Islamic group ISIL. 13 years after 9/11/2001, we have entered a new era of the Middle East quagmire. This one feels different. I pray that it is different. I am not a war historian. I tend to have very visceral responses to world events. One thing I feel is that this combat is not a war. The American public must come to some harsh realizations. There will be no newspaper photograph of a celebratory Times Square kiss between a jubilant Navy corpsman and an unsuspecting but willing young lady to signal a victory over ISIL. None of the pomp and circumstance of the June 28, 1919 signing of the Treaty of Versailles hailing the end of hostilities. No, a true war requires an opponent that has defined borders, a citizen army, and a known hierarchy of evil leaders. ISIL has none of these. It is an evil, amorphous, growing snake which abhors the West and has no concerns about the rules of engagement, such as those in the Geneva Convention. The United States and a few allies are engaged in mortal combat, not a war. If we are honest, we will never unfurl another banner claiming mission accomplished in this never-ending fight against extremist terrorism. Successive generations of Americans have been brought up with the Hollywood versions of great American victories. From Audie Murphy, who was in fact a real war hero, to John Wayne, to Sylvester Stallone and Matt Damon. Too many of us still have the dangerous illusion that given enough time, money, troops, and munitions, democracy will bloom in the Middle East, tribal differences will disappear, and the women will shed their hijabs while attending schools in their Guess jeans. This will not happen. It is their lives, their cultures, not ours to determine. The failures in Vietnam and the frustrations of the Middle East have somewhat tempered America's jingoistic hubris, but ours is still a victory-driven mindset. Am I saying that we should be isolationists? What do I mean when I say this one feels different? No, we cannot stand idly by. ISIL is beheading civilians. If their captured enemies do not instantly convert to their brand of extreme Sharia Islam, they are summarily executed. They are recruiting disenfranchised Westerners. Splinter al-Qaeda cells, such as the Khorasan group, are plotting direct threats to the Western world, and they were also targeted in the initial bombings in Syria. Radical groups such as these must be contained. But while this is a major global problem, the immediate threats are to Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Jordan, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. My visceral response mechanism wants to believe President Obama when he declares that there will be no American boots on the ground. Still, because I feel this problem will never have a complete resolution, I consider it never-ending combat, not a war. Therefore, I also think Obama's strategy is too vague and extends too far into the future. I would immediately announce 4 actions. First, the current bombing of ISIL and other targeted factions will continue unabated for 6 months, at which time they will cease. While we will do our utmost to limit civilian casualties, such losses will, unfortunately, occur. I refuse to sanitize this by calling it collateral damage. Second, the United States will spend 6 months training moderate troops from all our Middle East allied countries to prepare for battle. We expect all the Middle East allies, including Turkey with its million conscripted soldiers, to participate as boots on the ground. It is their region and, in the end, their fight. Obama's one-year schedule is too long and too open-ended. Third, if needed, units from the Joint Special Operations Command, such as Navy SEAL Team 6, will eliminate specific radical leader targets as needed. Let well-trained volunteers who crave such action do the needed chores, not my pharmacist or postman on their fourth rotation. Fourth, implement a vigorous, thorough vetting of all travelers going to or coming from Middle Eastern countries. If there is a scintilla of vagueness as to the purpose of their trip, they should be denied their travel. On this September 24th, the United Nations Security Council passed a resolution requiring member countries to enact laws barring suspected militants from traveling abroad. A good start, but let's put some real teeth and firm implementation into these regulations. We will be, unfortunately, endlessly in combat against radical terrorism. It is the new reality. We must do all we can to protect our homeland with a minimal erosion of personal individual rights. We will remain a great but more diligent nation. The war we must win is over an illusionary mindset that victory is only possible with a defined end and a completely vanquished enemy.